Warning, the following may contain tar asks. Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced. Previously on Crit-Faced. At the Blue Water Inn, the group have been getting to know the locals. Dressed as Madame Rousseau, Jean Mallarmé has upset the innkeeper's wife by telling a depressing fortune. A few minutes later, the group is summoned to meet with the innkeeper himself.
And we're looking forward to it. Just let us have a brief sort of chinwag here. We'll be back there. Okay. So, McRag, I think you should take the lead because you're obviously large and can absorb the most pots and pans thrown at you.
Certainly.
Yes, okay. And I should have the rear. So.
Okay. So, the boys at the bar indicate the door to the kitchen. You guys happy enough to head on in?
Yes, we should follow Kellen into the back.
I'll lead the way.
Interested in finding out whether she's actually married to that Magpie dude. That would be weird.
Okay. So,
it's like
okay for older ladies to marry younger guys. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, but it's like, how does he do the double shift then? So he's like, he's at the inn and he's obviously like the cook and works in the kitchen. But then whenever we need his help, he just like flies out of the chimney and comes to our rescue.
I like how you question his ability to work a double shift and not his ability to turn into a magpie.
I mean,
that's perfectly normal and fine, but him working a 16-hour day, that's just unnatural.
It's what it takes in this economy. It's what it takes.
Okay.
Valaki's in trouble. Yeah, depression.
Are we heading into...
We are.
So,
yes.
This looks like the room. This looks like a kitchen of someone who loves to cook. It's got lots of pots. The walls are lined with utensils hanging off them, shelves of ingredients. Smells amazing.
Except for Jean.
2 lanterns are hanging there. A pot of soup is bubbling. There's a well-built, tall, stocky man with... black hair and a black beard, both streaked with grey. He's got his chef's apron on. He turns to look at you when you enter with his dark, bushy eyebrows over his face. He doesn't look particularly happy either. And he looks at you and he says, "Well, welcome. I hear you've been upsetting my wife."
To be honest, it's not us who have been upsetting your wife. It's him. And I point straight at John.
Her. It's her. Thank you very much. I only told the truth.
Well, Mr. Mallarmé, we know all about you. And your
Well...
Can we try this again? Let's all hustle back out of the kitchen.
And you can understand my wife's displeasure once I informed her exactly who you were.
Yes.
Was it the 37 years and the 2 years?
So she actually gives a cough, and Danica is standing right behind you, Jean. And the man says, "Would you like to take that ridiculous thing off and apologize?"
I've been asked to strip in a kitchen before, and it ended very poorly. But I will. I will take off my my shawl and my wig and the skirt, which and yes, and also the blush and the rouge and
the nose.
The nose, of course. I do think it's a nose. Oh, yes, all that. And I look her in the eye and say, "I'm sorry that I said those things about your inevitable suffering and death."
Is that it?
And I am sorry that I brought these low-brow people into this wonderful establishment. I feel remiss. But you know what would cheer all of us up is a performance. I feel like a robust singing in the round would just cheer us all, just bring us all back.
She gives a turns on her heel and leaves the room.
You're never going to die. You're going to live forever. It's fine.
And her husband gives a short nod and turns his attention to everyone else. And he says, "So, Alec told me he had sent you here."
Alec is family to you, or
the Birdman?
Family of a sort, yes.
And why did he send us to your establishment?
Well, it was under my direction that he has been following you. And after he was unveiled...
We don't like being followed.
Yes, he did say you made that perfectly clear.
Yes, we're being followed by many other unsavory types. How do we know to distinguish you from them? Other than your delicious soup.
Well, certainly with other visitors in the realm, they tend to ask questions first and then set people on fire, but we duly noted that that's not what's going to be happening with you in the future.
Are you referring to when I tried to incinerate Alec in the sky?
That's pretty much what I was referring to, yes.
He was not a person in the sky. He was an annoying bird that was trailing us in a land that is ruled by a vampire who uses vermin to track and to persecute the innocents.
He's a tired wizard. He's very
How
tired.
are we to not know that he was not a servant of either the Vistani or of Strahd?
Or even our friend. I mean,
us.
we don't know who this is.
Hey,
we just...
I was not berating you for what you did. I'm just mentioning that it happened. Certainly understandable under the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Very well.
Why did you send him to us anyway?
And how did you know we were here? Or there at the time? Since we're here now.
As you have already noticed, we have quite a few eyes throughout the valley.
Alec.
Sorry?
We've only noticed Alec. That's 2 eyes.
Well, pay attention. We have more. And when people of note, like yourselves, come in, we keep an eye on them in case they can come in handy for me and my kind.
Your kind?
I said Alec and I were a family of a sort.
Can you two shift your shape? That's
yes.
the word?
Absolutely, yes. Myself,
Danica,
Danica, and our sons too, and there are others out there of the line of the Magpie King.
Mm-hmm. But you're all magpies then?
That is correct, yes.
Now listen here.
Can you turn into anything more intimidating?
I am afraid not. No, the magpie seems to be the totem that our line is cursed with.
Now listen here. Even though the common folk often see me as a hero of the people, I will not be used as a tool by them. So what right do you have to say that we could be of use to you?
I take my tools where I find them, and as I said, people like yourself with abilities, you could be tools to be put to use.
But we will not be tools for Strahd.
Yes, I don't think we will be called tools, thank you. We were performers, participants, allies, but not tools, surely.
As you will. We could both be of use to each other, I think.
That sounds a little better. I take up a mug hanging from a hook from under a shelf, and I sort of nonchalantly dip it into one of the bowls of soup, and just sort of sip it as I wait with an eyebrow raised, waiting for him to continue.
That's not the code.
So, you've heard of the Wizard of the Wines.
No.
Have you not had a drink since you've come into the valley?
I have.
Yes.
The Wizard of Wines. It's the only winery in Barovia, the only place alcohol comes from.
Monopoly.
Yes, absolutely. You understand it. Must be very important to the valley, especially somewhere such as this. My father owns the winery.
Is he the wizard?
He is not the wizard. He is like me. He is the closest thing we have to an actual Magpie king now in the valley.
Is that winery on a lake by chance?
No, it's not. It's far to the west of here.
Well, forget I asked.
So, what shall we do in this winery
Well, we are...
with wizard?
It has been a while
He's just
since
bringing it up to like show off a little bit as to their like family holdings. It's got nothing to do with the adventure.
We have lost contact with him.
Ah,
Now, that is particularly distressful for the people of the valley because our main contact with him were normally the deliveries of wine to this inn. So you can understand my distress in knowing that I am running out of wine.
Yeah.
Also, are the familial duties I feel I have towards him as well. This is not a safe place. He is out there on his own in the winery, although normally well protected. I would be interested in someone making their way out there to find out what has happened.
Why not send Alec, who can scoot over there across the... I waggle my fingers upwards in the direction of the sky. You know, the firmament, the azure highway, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
He could zip over to the Wizard of the Winery, take a gander. I mean, back before the whistle was wet,
Yep.
as it were.
That's a very astute.
It will take us, no doubt, days to slog our way overland on our...
The way we travel
Legs.
weeks. I mean, we are terrible travelers.
That's
We are quite...
a
we are
very
quite-
astute question.
Yes, thank you.
Just because Alec and the rest of my kind can fly does not mean that it is particularly safer. As you noticed just before you set poor Alec on fire, the skies...
There's only one of me out there, let me assure you of that.
The skies are remote and it is easy to be spotted if you are in those skies. Furthermore, there is the danger that would be posed to Alec by my father and his people. You see, my father and I have not left things on good terms, and he has made it clear that if he sees any of those loyal to me come anywhere close to his winery, he will make short work of them. So you see, I would be sending Alec into a position that I know would be risking his life.
You have a very complicated family, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You wish to check on him even while he would kill you for checking on him.
You have pretty much summed it up, yes.
I have a sister like this. I understand completely.
Lothalfram
what
blows some
was-
bubbles in his mug of soup pensively.
You would want us to, on our journeys, if we find information on your father, or if we find any trace of it, or if we meet him, that we then give you the news. What exactly are you asking of us?
Yes, I want to know what's happened to my father. Ideally, I would like you to visit the winery, but any information you gather on your travels would be appreciated.
I think this is a
sounds
very
like he
this
doesn't
is a
care what's
reasonable.
happened to you.
It's a reasonable request. I think like the thing that we have to know is, do you know where any magic daggers can be purchased?
Magic daggers. Why
I know they're like everywhere, but I just am curious if you know.
would you want something
specifically.
like that? From what Alec tells me, you can throw fire with your fingertips.
Oh, I can. But like I can't whittle as well as I could before, and like magic daggers are the best for whittling. You really get the shape of a flute. So
There's nowhere like that that I know of in Valaki. Perhaps the Vistani. Have you tried speaking with any Vistani? We have a camp close by.
we did speak to them. Yes, we did speak. To them.
They're not big fans of ours right now.
So,
Yeah, shocking. I know you find it hard to believe. Given our general ability to impress everyone effortlessly by meeting them for the first time.
So there's no place that you would recommend us visiting just to prepare ourselves for this wonderful journey. We might arm ourselves with any sort of magic potions, etc.
Alas, I set the mug of soup aside. We have prior commitments. We are searching for a lost noblewoman by the name of Irina. And we were given a rather nebulous prophecy that we should be looking into because Strahd,
Yes.
Because Strahd.
Perhaps knowing.
I don't know if we quite have the luxury to hair off to a winery to assist you in your
I think we probably do. I think we do.
Are either of these tasks which would be aided by having
more wine,
an aerial view of the valley.
Yeah, there you go. An ally. So the question is what is the reward for this task?
You would gain the aid of the skies. You would gain the aid of me and my people.
It's a cloudy place. I'm not sure that is enough.
You just said that you don't dare send out your people because it's too dangerous. I mean, it doesn't sound like a great. Asset.
Yes, exactly. If we were talking about a basket of magic daggers, I would be much more inclined to participate in this endeavor. But I mean, it seems like we're just doing you a favor, and then you will sometimes maybe help us from above. I mean, that's what happens when we go into a cave? I mean, there's no birds in a cave. There's called bats.
How many days' march is this winery?
3 at most, depending on how quickly you travel.
So we're talking a week out of our commitments to Irina. Who knows what may befall Irina within that week?
But I am sure that at least he would completely supply all of the rations, and the stay here, of course, will be free, and probably have room on his bill for a certain talented singer to perform. Probably like knocking off the sort of, what's his name, Rickemortis, knocking him off the bill, Ricky Ticky Tacky, and then I consider there is a possibility if we could just talk about the compensation for this favor.
This is something that we shouldn't underestimate, having aerial support. We're looking for Irina, and obviously she has not made it to this tavern. We'd have to scour the rest of the place, Villaki, but it might be helpful. If she is not here, then it might be helpful to have other eyes to look out for her.
Can we at least insist upon like a free stay, room and board, everything that we could possibly consume, like beverage-wise, while we are here? That would be fair, right?
I would take it one step further, John.
Oh.
If we do take on this request and we spend the next weeks going to and fro from this winery, then I would ask that you and your people spend that time searching for Irina so that we do not simply abandon our quest. If you will not send your sons to the winery, send them instead after our stated goal.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Plus room and board and whatever it was else he said about Ricky Ticky Tavi.
And I will tell anyone's fortune for free.
Would you guys?
You just killed us. We were doing so well.
Would you guys like to take a persuasion check? I'll ignore the fortune check.
Why?
Oh, I can assist somebody. I got a 12, which is not the best.
21.
Yeah, plus my assist.
20.
I stand behind Jean, like pumping my cane up and down behind him, like a support cast member.
Was
Golden nugget.
Was Kellen rolling, or was he just letting the The guy's
He's glowering. Roll an intimidation.
I'm glowering. I'm going to do an intimidation check.
Really?
I hope he doesn't turn into a bird and try to peck my eyeballs out.
Ooh, smack talk.
Oh, wait, I get to do it with disadvantage, right?
Well, I really wouldn't go for intimidation's totally different.
What are you doing, man?
He's doing it. He's tipping over the soup.
Oh, God.
He's going to flip it.
Listen,
I'm going to just act
Kellen,
like
you were very
I'm
tight.
going to act like I'm about to spit into the soup.
Oh, great.
So,
Oh, God.
Sean, I'm sorry. You're in no position to judge.
16.
okay.
Oh, no.
He says, your requests sound fair. Until
Please don't spit in the soup.
All right, I'll swallow my lug.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
It's like one of those like protracted things. It takes him like 30 seconds to get it all back in. And like lots of wet noises and gurglings. Everybody's just sickened.
I will tell the family all the details of your missing companion, and they will keep an eye out for her.
Is
understand?
Ismark with us?
Sorry,
Is Ismark with us?
he is. Yep.
Oh, God. Oh.
I point to Ismark. It's her sister, so please keep him involved and abreast of all developments.
You understand that until you have completed your dealings in the winery, I will not be sending anyone out specifically to look for her. But
No.
Wait.
Good
We're
faith,
specifically.
good faith. Oh, my God.
Everybody retches. It sets up a round of vomiting. No, it's one of those parties. It's terrible.
Oh, God.
I clean it up with a firebolt.
Right. Wait, he's continuing. He says, "Do not underestimate the network that has already just opened up to you."
But you said it hasn't opened up.
It has indeed. We have our eyes on the settlements. We have our eyes on the roads constantly, and they will now be looking for your companion. Now,
Good.
if you visit the winery and seek my father there, and if we have still not found your Irina after you've completed that task, I will send people out specifically into the darker parts of Barovia to look for her.
Okay.
Well,
That's
Master Sunna, what do you think?
I'm totally on board with checking out this poor wizard's winery in order for us to save Irina, because she is of utmost importance.
That's right. It's not the wine itself that we're going for.
No,
right?
no.
No, it's Irina.
I think we have an agreement here. I think that the last question that I have before we continue on our mission is, what is the soup of the day?
It's French onion. I
Oh, God.
point
I
at my
don't
mug.
like- No,
No,
thank you.
I don't know what this French is, but it is mushroom soup.
Baliki onion.
I could certainly add some onion if you would.
I could add something too.
Oh, my God. Like we should get him out of
Get
here.
him. Who
Yeah.
thought it was a good idea to bring him into a kitchen anyway?
Put him into a bed. Knock this
Let's
barbarian
send
out.
him to the Vistani camp.
Oh, my God. I
Will
think
you
we'll-
provide us with traveling rations?
Oh,
Maybe some soup to go.
no.
Certainly. I do not think soup would keep on the road, but I can certainly provide you with.
And to be sure,
some
do you
dry
have
rations.
any of the remaining wine from the last shipment? Perhaps we could take some with us to match it. To ensure nothing has been done to the wine at the winery.
You may drink the wine here, it is from the winery, but I do not think you need anything for the road. I cannot see that adding to your task.
Like a small pony keg.
But we can't leave immediately because we need to still check out Vilaki. It's like we need to still see if Irina isn't here in the
But
town.
we need
a rest.
I think
Yes.
we should rest.
I definitely
Sleep.
say Kellen really needs to sleep because
He
he's not
should.
making much sense.
I need a long rest. A
I
protracted
get
rest.
ornery when I'm tired.
We noticed.
We've noticed, yes, and spitting a lot of soup. So, can we assume that our stay here is gratis?
Yes, we can arrange that. I'll talk to Danica. Although
Honeymoon suite?
I think Madame Rousseau should possibly take a back seat while you're around her from now on.
I will keep her in my pocket.
Did we ever learn this gentleman's name?
This is Irwin. Irwin?
Irwin?
Mm-hmm.
Master Irwin, we've heard conflicting opinions on the Burgermeister. Are you in favor of what he is doing here in town, or are you arraying yourself against him?
Well, as a family man, this is possibly the safest place I could think of in Barovia to bring up my family. However, I am getting sick of these celebrations that are becoming mandatory now.
Do you know why?
He believes this is what protects Vallaki from Strahd. Of course, it's total rubbish.
This is just like a wild guess, but does he have a young daughter he's trying to get onto the circuit of performance? Maybe this whole thing is a ruse for her performances? Is it a family thing?
The Baron? No.
The festivals. He
has a young son and...
does he tap dance?
No, the son is certainly not a performer.
First thing I was thinking as well. We're on the same page here.
We rarely see him.
He's too busy tap dancing.
We all have those.
Victor Valakovich is a sickly child. We rarely see him.
Does he keep him in a basement locked under a church?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That's all right. You did nothing wrong.
I think we should take a long rest. I think we all need a long rest to think about this.
Can you provide us with horses or mules or donkeys or some other form of four-legged conveyance, maybe a cart and pony or a trap or something along the line to speed us towards the winery?
He wrinkles his forehead and has to think about this. I do not have access to any of those steeds. Let me have a look and I'll get back to you before you leave. When were you planning on making your journey?
Dawn tomorrow. That'll leave us time to rest, maybe enjoy the festivities tonight, meet the locals, get some of the local color, see if Irina isn't down, and then head out for a fresh day start.
One last thing. Can you tell us anything about this Festival of the Blazing Sun?
There'll probably be an announcement up in the town square by now. I have no idea what it entails yet. Last time entailed parading around the town, holding wolf's heads on pikes. Who knows what the barons come up with this time?
One other last thing. This one probably is the last.
Right.
Thing. The lastest thing. Are you familiar with any of the following locales? Can you tell us where we could find them? And I rattle off the different locations Madame Eva.
Before you start that, and he raises an eyebrow and he says, "This sounds distinctly like the kind of favors that you're trying to buy with this task."
Well, we've already begun the task, so we've already bought it.
So far, all you've done is you've decided to give yourself to my room and board. I think we will continue this conversation after you've visited my father. We will look out for Irina until then, of course, but I think I'd be unwilling to use my resources for free until I start to see some of the benefit of this arrangement.
You know, I was trying to think of this as a friendship, where we were doing favors for each other out of the goodness of our heart.
Well, I'm glad we set things straight.
Purely on a quid pro quo, and I slam my cane down on the table, then I will remember that.
I eyeball the soup angrily.
There you go. Watch out.
Okay.
To the honeymoon suite, John.
Crit-Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcasts.com and join our Crit-Faced fan group.